The way I present offers
Mhm.
is when I have a client that wants to submit an offer, I will, what I will do is I will call the agent, find out what kind of activity, so I can kind of gauge, see if they're willing to give me any information on on the property and what the seller is actually looking for out of the property.
Yep.
I'll let them know that I'm preparing an offer.
A
And
very
then,
strong offer.
what's that?
A very strong offer.
Well, depending on what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's not a strong offer, what am I doing? How you doing there, DD? If it's not a strong offer, why am I submitting a lower than list price? Because do I always offer exactly what the listing is? No, I'm basing my offer based on what the market shows.
Mm-hmm.
I do a CMA with every offer that I do. I may not do the formal, put it all together in a nice, neat package, but I'm checking the comps. I'm making sure that if this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot house in Vero Beach, Florida, that it's comparable to the other properties,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if it's overpriced, why is it overpriced? And then why am I going to make my offer lower? And
Mhm.
that's part of the presentation. When I find out what they're looking for, if I know that it's $20,000 overpriced, okay, I'm going to ask them, where did you come up with it? I'm not trying to be rude, but where did you come up with this price? Because my comps are showing it's not a $500,000 house. I'm showing 480, maybe 470.
Mhm.
And they're going to tell you, well, we just put a roof on. We just, did this. Do we just put a new AC? And all of a sudden, maybe you have the value, maybe you don't.
Mhm.
Right. But when I put an offer together, I want to make sure that I'm going in with my best foot forward and letting that agent know that I'm not just picking a number out of a hat. Right. For example, I had an old coworker from my last life that when she came to me to look for a house, okay, and when I sent it to the lender said, went to do the pre-approval, he calls me up, he goes, Chris, anything she wants. I'm like, yeah, but there's got to be a max. He goes, Chris, anything she wants. I'm like, and that sounds like a dream client, right? But she set her price point at $600,000. We were looking at $600,000 houses. Every house we went into, she said, great, I want to make an offer. I'm like, oh, at first I thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, yes, simple sale, $600,000, let's go. I asked her, what do you want to offer? She says, 400,000. I said, okay, why do you want to offer $400,000? She said, well, that's what I want to pay. I said, okay, but all the comps show $600,000 all day long. Yeah, but I only want to pay 400,000. I said, well, let's go look at $400,000 property. She's like, no, I want a $600,000 property. So we did the dance for a couple rounds, and I said, look, and then finally she called me up and she said, Chris, offer 400. I only want the front half of the property. They can, and this is no joke. There was like a guest house in the back. She wanted them to section it off and keep the guest house, and she only wanted to buy the main house. And that's when we went sideways. So that's not being realistic, right? And that's no kidding. That happened. Okay. So people come up with this, well, I want to pay 400,000, but that's not realistic. And if that's your buyer, you're not going to have a realistic buyer. Now, if they say that, it's really a $400,000 neighborhood and I can justify the comps, right? Because sometimes we have sellers that go the other way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they want, I just want to try it a little bit higher. Let's see what it's going to do higher. I know it should be 450, but let's try 500 because, my mother's aunt's uncle, who old roommate from college, they said that, that I could get higher, right? So I want to call the listing agent, feel that out. And then when I put together the offer, the way I do it, I put all of my documents, whatever attachments, all that stuff. I take them out of whatever program I'm using and I put them into one single PDF. Right? One single PDF. I don't send them out of app files. I don't send them out of dot loop or zip forms or any of these other programs because one, we all have spam filters, right? A lot of times these things go to spam, right? Now on our team, we have a cover letter, an offer synopsis that kind of, it has our team name. It just goes on the front. It's like a cover letter. Here's the offer, 600,000, 1% down, no escalation, no nothing, right? And it makes it nice and neat. And it highlights all the parameters of the offer that we're making. Okay. And then by doing that, right, by making that offer, I put it in a nice, neat process, one single PDF. So if they open one document, I know they opened everything. Okay. And then what I do is also in the body of the email, I'll tell them, hey, here's my offer as per our conversation, $600,000, 1% EMD, cash offer, conventional financing, FHA, whatever, close on or before, and I'll hit those same highlights in the body. So I'm repeating, so that when this goes across, all right, they get it, and then I'm going to follow up with at least a text message. Hey, I just sent you the offer. Please confirm receipt. Because with technology, and if your email is like mine, I get a couple hundred emails a day, and sometimes stuff goes into spam, or wherever it goes, or in one of my other folders, and I may not see that offer. So you want to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible on that agent, on the listing agent. Now, I don't know about each of your areas, all right, but I know here, we're getting a lot more traction on a lot of our properties. A lot of the other areas, the markets are picking up, low inventory, more buyers than sellers, right? So we're getting back into multiple offers. And if you have somebody that has an offer on the table and that other agent has made it easy for the listing agent and you're being a pain in the ass, right? I mean, realistically, if I have Dee calls me up, she's like, Chris, it's so great to talk to you. I know I haven't talked to you since I submitted my last offer 2 weeks ago on another property that, whatever. And Martha calls me up and she's like, Chris, I sent the offer. I sent it in 27 different PDFs, 1 page per PDF. Already we're off to a bad start. Right? So we need to make it easy on the agent and let them know that we're going to communicate with them the whole entire time.
Correct. You're setting the tone for the rest of the transaction as well. So it's helpful.
Not the rest of the transaction. I'm setting the tone for the rest of my career.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because buyers will come and go. But realtors, we'll see the same realtors. How many times have we all been on the same call together? Right? You guys have been in the business, right? Chances are, if somebody calls me up and they say, I want to go to California, right? One of the first names on my list is Martin, and I'm going to figure out if it's, I may not remember the exact town, but I know you're in California.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you need to be setting up as the professional in your area. And when those agents get your offers, you want them to be like, and that's right, Chris is calling, he closes deals.
Yep.
Not, oh crap, Chris is calling again. This is going to be painful. Make sense?
Yep. Totally.
It sounds silly. But too many of us are overlooking, and I'm not saying it's you guys, but I want to bring this stuff up because just in the past week, I have received offers from agents. They send them in crazy cryptic, links that don't ever come to me, or I need a password to open it up, or I need some other, whatever it is. And I'm like, why are you making this harder on me? And one of them actually lost it because they were sending an offer in on one of our listings and they kept playing games. Oh, I sent it through Dotloop. I sent it through Dotloop. I'm like, it's not coming through. I sent them my email address. I sent them an email from my email address trying to get it through. And you know what happened? Another offer came through just the way we wanted it, perfect numbers, and we wound up going with that offer.
Yep.
So they wound up, because the agent was so bent on sending it through Dotloop, they lost the offer. And I don't know about you. I don't want to go back to my client and say, man, sorry, we lost it because I was being hard-headed.
Well, they won't probably say it, but yes. They probably don't learn their lesson either. If you told them 4 times already and it still didn't come true.
Yeah, but the agents do this stuff, guys. Right? And I bring this stuff up. Tanya has a lot, and I have some stuff here that I can share, but yeah, I know Tanya does a lot of these really awesome, presentations and stuff, but I think we learn a lot from actual real world experience. And when you're out there in the trenches and you're doing this stuff, there are things that happen, right? And we can, we can do the little, fancy stuff, which is great. We have to know it, but we also have to know how this stuff is being perceived on the other end.
You're so right, Chris. We just put our investment property not too long ago on the market, and I reached out to an EXP agent. It's out of state, so I couldn't list it myself. And she was phenomenal. She's an icon agent with EXP. Tanya said, go with an icon agent. I found one, and she was amazing. But she was showing me copies of the offers as they were coming in. And one agent was terrible. She listed the wrong property address. Her documents, even though she did include them, like Chris said, all in one PDF, one after the other, they were cut off. The header was cut off. Some of them were super slanted, and it was like it didn't look at all organized. And the agent just looked like she threw everything together and just didn't look over all the details. I think details are very important. Also, because the agent is sharing the offers with us, the seller, and we tend to look at all of that. And if you have 2 offers the same price, same offer, you're going to pick the one that's more organized and clean and professional looking. I wouldn't want to deal with an agent that just, is she doing it in the car? Is she's like putting on her makeup, or he doing something else? So that was one that stood out as the worst of the one. We got 14 offers. So you're right, Chris. Multiple offers are coming in, and we're closing, got knock on wood, and got it out tomorrow. So
Great, that's awesome. Congratulations.
within 1 week, thank you. Within 1 week, I think after coming soon, first day we showed, we got our first offer. So, but yeah, everything you said, Chris, today since I joined, I apologize, I'm late. I'm saying yes because I saw it all, real life experience. I asked the XP agent a lot of questions, and she's like, "This is not how it should look, Dee, not at all." So we went with the cash offer.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Let's say I'm up, Martha is in Jacksonville, right? Martha's on the same team as me. I go up to Martha, right? Jacksonville is a couple hours away from the office. I'm out working with Martha. Maybe we're working on a project. And we wind up meeting somebody and there's people that want to buy larger pieces of property that are nowhere near any offices. So me and Martha, we meet a client out in the middle of nowhere. They say, I want to write an offer right now. I have no internet connection. Right? I'm forced to go to my file cabinet that I keep in my car with my paper contracts. Right? I do the contract on the hood of my car. I fill it all out. Is there any problem with that? There is a problem with that?
Yeah, I would say so. You want to make sure that the buyer can perform. Do you know their financial situation?
Oh, no. Let's just assume that we verify that the buyer can perform. The only thing that's holding us up is the internet connection.
Yeah, of course. Paper's good.
I think it's okay.
Absolutely. There's no problem with this at all, right?
And props to you actually that you had a file cabinet in your car, because most people don't.
Yeah, most people don't. I still keep I keep 3 copies of a listing, keep 3 copies of a buyer contract, because you never know when you're going to need it. Okay. So we have no internet connection. The only thing I have is my cell phone, right? But I know this is a hot property, right? So I'm going to call the listing agent. I'm going to say, look, I know this is not orthodox, but I have an offer coming through. I'm going to download it off my phone and I'm going to send it to you. Okay. Now it's not as neat and pretty as I just said, but does it work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's not the way I want it to, right? And this is a business where, we train and try and make it as perfect as possible. But the bottom line is, if I've done business, with Martha before, and maybe she's a listing agent on this, and I say, look, I'm getting this over, but for time purposes, I don't want to wait until I get back to the office. I want you to have this offer. I'm sending it to you. I'll clean it up and I'll scan it properly when I get back, but here you go. Right? Now, all of a sudden, I already have a relationship with Martha, and yeah, it's going to look a little funny coming across on my phone or maybe my email on my phone, whatever, because I'm using the Wi-Fi signal. But at least she knows what I'm normally doing, and I've already expressed why it's coming across that way. So sometimes we have to do what we have to do to get these things done. Right? But in a perfect world, I want to take my time, put it together, present it in one nice, neat, package. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I'm
Mm.
sure you would double check to make sure you have the correct address.
Oh, yeah. No, but when I'm going on a listing appointment, especially if it's pre-planned, I've already printed out the sheets with the legal address and all that stuff. So I have everything with me that I need to make a viable offer.
Mhm.
Right? It doesn't always work, So if that's the case, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call, because this is a people business. If I'm out there and I have no internet, I'm calling back to my office. I'm asking Ken, hey, pull up the legal address for me, text it to me. Right? And you guys should have somebody. I'm sure you guys know somebody that you're close enough with that you can ask them to do something like look up a legal address. I keep saying there's no single agent, right? If you guys operate as a technical single agent, there is no such thing as a single agent in this industry. We all have teams. It just depends on how we're structured. Martin, you may be working by yourself as an agent, but you got your title company, you have your lenders, right?
Got my
We have
mentor.
our inspection people. It's a team. If any one of those links is messed up, we're gonna have problems.
Mhm.
Early on, one of my first transactions, I had a young couple, just got married. Okay. It was one of my first transactions, so I really didn't have anybody. I didn't have my inspectors. One of the older women in the office said, hey, call this woman. She's great. I called her up. She goes, she says, I'm too busy. I don't have time for you, but you can use my husband. He's also an inspector. Right? Okay. Dude showed up, and I kid you not, right? Dude showed up with sores all over his hands. I mean, it looked like a big old mess. And when he went to shake my client's hand, he says, hey, I'm whatever his name was. He puts out his hand. He says, they refer to me as the deal killer. Now, everyone on this call has sold at least one house. If you had an inspector walk into a transaction and say, I'm called the deal killer, does that give you any kind of warm, fuzzy feeling that he's on your side? No, he's there. He's bragging about how he's going to tank this deal.
He's
Right?
not
So
even
crazy,
helping
but
the
like
buyer.
my mind is just right now.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And why would his wife send him over in the first place?
I don't know, but there are people out there that do this stuff. Right? So this is why it is so very important for us to make sure that the agents understand that we are the professionals. Right? Why do we have networking events within the realtor community? Why do I go to real networking events here in Vero Beach with other realtors? Right? I don't expect them to buy a home from me, but I want them to know who I am So when I submit an offer, they know that, hey, Chris is locked on, he knows what he's doing. Right. And I'm not saying that you have to be out at every networking event, but you have to have these relationships. This is what drives our business. Right. And this is what makes the difference between submitting 20
Sorry, I
offers.
gotta pick up a call real quick.
Okay. This is what is the difference between submitting 20 offers to get one accepted, or maybe 2 or 3.
You're right, Chris. I think it was a great experience for me working with this EXP agent, even though she was selling our house. It was just perfect because I would ask her questions. And she asked me to, she would just give me a lot of time. And she shared many things that you're saying. She does go to a lot of networking events. So people outside of her county know of her, which is really nice. I'm like, how did you get that far? She's been in the industry for a while. She's been with EXP, I think, is 4 years now. And she says, I just go to every event I can. I'm an empty nester. I can do this. And she says people reach out to her even outside her county, and she'll drive out and do stuff. So she did say the same thing. Didi, what are you doing to network? I said, well, Chamber of Commerce, that's my next goal. There's a big fee to join. But boy, do they hold the best events. So I'm looking forward to that. And I do have to join more, Chris, because I've only done 2 or maybe even 3, a little one, networking, and it paid off. It's really nice. And I know of other agents who are professional, like yourself, Chris. I met many people that I know that if I reach out to him or her, they're going to do a phenomenal job. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways. Mhm.
Absolutely. And when I first got into this and I had no business, right? I had just left the US Capitol Police. I didn't, I'd gone full time, and the traction I had a little bit of an issue on personal stuff. It kind of like took the wind out of my sail. But I knew I wasn't going back to that job. So what I did every day, at that time I had like a little rolling briefcase thing with my computer and all that stuff. And I would drag it to the office and I would sit in the bullpen and I would work there. Now, most real estate offices are just like they are today, right? Not many people coming through, or not many people working there. But people would come through every now and then to make copies, scan stuff, whatever. Just by sitting there, I picked up, I think it was 11 sales over the course of my first year, just because the senior agents, some of them got so busy that they would just pass them off. And I was like, okay,
That's perfect.
one of which was actually a call, and it was a call into the office that the duty agent never showed up. And because the duty agent, and actually I've gotten a lot of business over people not responding to phone calls, right? And the duty agent never showed up. The girl at the front desk, she's like, hey, I got this guy on the phone, has a buyer, wants to buy. Wound up being a cash sale, $1.3 million. It was my first one over $1 million. I closed it out in 27 days. And I still do business with that family today. And that was about almost 10 years ago.
Because you showed up. Because you showed up, Chris.
Yeah. So, and granted, I understand you guys may not have physical offices right next to you, but we have Regis,
Yes.
right?
I've been to mine and it's great. It's great.
Sit in the general area. You have people from different walks of life coming through there, business professionals. And the Regis offices, you have accountants, you have lawyers, all these people use those resources.
Yeah.
Set up shop.
Do they let you print?
I believe they do. Yeah, it's a full service thing.
Yes, a full service. Ours is. It's really wonderful. It's just steps away. And I have on my laptop stickers that say, ask me about real estate,
Mhm.
real estate and investing. So I have that on there. I have my EXP sticker. So yeah, it works and it's really fun. I like it because it gives you a change of just the space. And it's not always coffee houses. These offices let you focus, which is nice.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's a matter of connecting with people.
And
You
what do
know,
you call a duty? What is a duty agent? Is it the
so
person in?
one of the old things that we used to do is when you have a physical office, people, agents would sign up and they would basically take duty agent or, office hours, different things that they call them. And the agent would come and sit at the front desk and they would be the person to answer any incoming phone calls or walk-ins for the day.
Yeah, we did that at Watson.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was so funny when I got here to Florida. When I first got here, our brokerage had 2 offices. One on the beach, which was beautiful, overlooked the water, right? And that's where everybody would go, right? And then there was this little office that was just a little office over here on Route 60. Nobody would go there. So we came in, Ken and myself, and we set up shop in that front office that was on Route 60. And we had people coming in on the beach. People are going to the beach. They're not going to buy houses.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're on on the main route, a lot of traffic, right? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so,
terrific.
and one of them came in again. The duty agent wasn't there. And Ken can probably tell you the numbers better than me, but we've closed millions of dollars with this one client that walked in because it turned out that he was an investor that had all these rental properties that wanted to sell them all.
Oh my God, that's like a
a lot.
gold mine up there. That's a
Yeah.
blessing.
But the thing about it is, it's about
I know.
putting yourself in a position where it's going to happen. I'm sitting here in the office right now. Ken's up front, right? Doors are open, lights are on. Somebody, and we have Bank of America right next door, right?
Oh,
People
perfect.
walking
Jeez.
past. They don't walk in every day, but they do walk in, right? I've been licensed for 12 years, just about 12 years now. Sitting at my house, there was one time when a young girl hit my mailbox. I wasn't there, hit my mailbox, tore up my mailbox, and left. So, of course, I was mad.
Oh,
Well, a little while later, she knocked on my door and she says, hey, listen, I hit your mailbox. I'm so sorry. I had to go get medical attention. And she says, do you need my contact information? I said, no. I said, the fact that you came back says a lot about your character. I appreciate you taking care of the mailbox. We're good. Unless, of course, you happen to be in the market to buy or sell a home, then I'm happy to help, right? And it turns out she's like, well, me and my boyfriend, the guy standing behind her, they wanted to rent a place. Okay, so I got her information. She kind of ghosted me for a few months, and then a few months later, she calls back. She's like, "Hey, broke up with the boyfriend. I want to buy a house." All right, now that is the only time in my career that I have ever sold a house while sitting in my house, right, without making an outbound phone call. Now that's a freak set of occurrences. If I based my whole career on that, I wouldn't have a career. It happens. So I'm not going to say it can't happen, but if you base your career on sitting in your house and waiting for somebody to stop by, it's not going to, you're not going to have much of a career. So you have to get out and put yourselves in these positions to where you can do the presentations to random people.
yeah, you have to be seen and also be prepared for that, like the lady with the mailbox.
Yeah.
I had that experience at ShopRite. I was cashing out, and the supervisor who had been there for years was sitting across me. And she goes, "Hey, Dee Dee," because my husband has an electrical business and he's done electrical work for her. She says, "How's Edgar?" I'm like, "He's fine." I'm like, "What are you up to?" I'm like, "Well, I'm an agent with EXP." And I went into the little conversation as I'm cashing out, waiting for the cashier to finish. She just walked over. She goes, "Well, I'm gonna sell my home in August of this year, and I want to buy. You think you can do that? Can help me with that?" So I have her in my pipeline for August, but it was sort of, I didn't have I had my business cards. I had a little flyer that I was giving out. I gave her one, just how to prepare the buyer process. I just have that with me. And that's what I gave her because she knows she's going to sell. I said, "This is going to be a process of how to buy. If you, I know you've bought before, but this is a new little," and I just have it handy. She loved it. And we've been chatting back and forth. I've been just looking things up for her. So yeah, that does happen, but I am not gonna, that's not gonna happen every day. I'm not
It
counting
does
on
if
that.
you put yourself in front of people, but you have to be out there. Even while I'm doing my computer work, because I'm here at the office, there's a chance of somebody walking in, right? We all have computer work. But if I'm not doing this, I'm out on appointments, so on and so forth. And I have I have a couple more appointments this week. I have stuff going on. I have stuff going on, people coming in, the whole bit. So it's all about making, those connections. So the
It's
only
not like
people,
working from home, right? I mean,
What's
it's not
that?
like working from, it's not like working from home, because home, nobody's gonna walk in,
no, nobody.
so.
And also we're in a different mindset at home,
Yes.
right? And I'm not going to say I never, work from home, right? It happens. But every day, no matter, even if I'm at home, I get up, I get dressed, and I'm ready for work. So if you don't have the ability, I've heard all sorts of things. Gas is too high. This is what it. You know what? Sitting at home and not interacting, the price is too high on that.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And even with Zoom calls and everything, some people just they don't relate, there's not that connection. I love Zoom calls that we're able to reach out to one another from state to state, but locally, I think it's the one-on-one, being physically present, I think makes a huge difference. Like if
Mhm.
Chris lived around the block and I'm like, Chris, let's do a Zoom call. He's gonna wonder, why don't we just meet? I think it's
Yeah,
more important we just meet up now that we can, right? It's safe. But yeah, I prefer in person 10 times, 20 times
absolutely.
over.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But the Zoom calls, they do help. I mean, it's still a way to interact. So,
Yeah.
it's just it's about getting out there, right? Yeah, I mean, getting those relationships built. And this goes back into what we were talking about earlier, as far as the presentation. The presentation is going to last you through your career.
Mhm.
And still today, I mean, I have a group of realtors. We all got our license within a year or two of each other. We all came up through the business together. Every one of us is a high producer. And if I turn to any one of them, most of them are still up in Maryland, that I started with. But I can turn to them any day. Hey, what's going on over here? What's going on over there? Yeah, I need assistance, and they're there to help.
That's so good to have that you're able to do that. Because it's like having a huge team, but
Mhm.
it's just you and Ken there, right? Yeah, it's just you
Well,
and
here
Ken at the
today, there's 15 of us. So
oh
Marcus on
wow.
the team, so we're
Oh
spread out.
wow. That's a big team.
Yeah, we're getting there, but we have a good group of people.
That's excellent. And you started the team, Chris?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yep.
would love to do that, but I know that I still have more experience. I'm so new, but I would love to have that. And they saying you can have a team as big as 5 people and still be high producing. But
You
I'm
can
not ready to
have
take on 15.
no, but you know what? As far as that, when I first got started, it was not there was no team. I was the team, just like you are, right? And what I
Mhm.
did was I got a whiteboard, and what I started to do was I started to write down everything that I was doing that I did repetitively over and over and over again, right? And then I wound up I tried to automate what I could, and then I found a young girl that was she was in grad school, finishing up her degree, and for me it worked out great. She had no desire to be in real estate, right? But she needed a job, and she was extremely smart and an English major, right?
Wow.
Beautiful,
So she came to
beautiful.
work for a few hours a week. She became like a sounding board for me, because obviously young girl, English major, not
Mm.
me at all. So it was somebody that I could bounce ideas off of, that because I know how I perceive stuff, but how does it get perceived on the other end?
True,
You know
true.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
yeah.
I mean, we can get into that, if you decide that you want to do that. There are some things that you have to do, but it's all about building the relationships. And if you can build the relationships, the rest will fall into place.
Oh, that is so good to hear because I love relationships. I love people and I love just establishing friendships. I mean, I have friendships with people who I don't even touch every day, but when I do see them, it's like
Mhm.
we know each other for years and years. And I just love following up with people. So in that aspect, I think I'm doing really well. It's just getting all the other things like the whole, when you started with the CMA offer, the CMAs and the offers, I said, oh, this is going to be really interesting because I've never put an offer together. So
You've
that's
never
going to
put
be.
even a trial one?
No, because well, yeah, at home I practice and that just recently with the agents that worked with me on my house. But I'm so new, I haven't been here a year as a licensed agent or EXP, but I'm loving every bit of this journey.
Yeah,
But I do practice.
but
Mhm.
Dee, why are you not doing, offers? I mean, Martha, you've been in the business for a while, right?
It's like, yeah, since like 2015.
Yeah, and
Mm.
did we do mock offers when you got here?
Yes, we're still
Yeah.
doing them,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good.
She's been in the business and we still do practice to practice. Why are you not practicing?
No, I'm not. I review them. I review samples and I go into the
No, no, no,
trainings.
no, no, no.
No, but
I'm
I
not.
don't do myself.
You need to do one yourself. You need to do a lot of them yourself.
Okay, and what do you guys do as mock offers? How do you just take a blank form and do what you just said? Chris
Well,
put it in
so
our PDF.
Well, so we have a way we do it. We typically work with, whatever, their main house is. Let's do it this way. Why don't you submit an offer to me? Okay,
Oh
seriously.
no,
Yeah,
Martha, I'm gonna call you.
submit an offer to
Every
me.
time you do it and somebody looks at it, you think you put out such a perfect thing. And
Uh,
they always find something you could do better, which is great.
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna do that.
and the thing about it though is, right, if we do it here, right, if we discuss something and somebody here on this call says something that's messed up, right,
Mhm.
nobody knows, right? We laugh about it or whatever it is, and we move on. We learn from it. So here's what we're gonna do. Dee Dee, you're
Mhm.
going to do a CMA on you live in a house?
No, I just sold one, but I can do it on that one if you. I can do
Okay.
it on that one. It's in another state, though. I
No,
have to
no, no,
pick
no,
one
no, no,
next.
no, 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 no. I want you to do a house that you know in your area.
Okay, I'll pick one. Okay, so I'll come up with the address.
Do a house, do a CMA,
Mm-hmm.
send me the CMA, and then you're gonna do an offer based on that, off of that CMA. So send me the CMA first, and then we'll
Okay.
discuss what to offer, and then you'll submit it that way.
Okay.
You have my.
That's a good exercise because I've always been back of my mind, I'm thinking, God, what if somebody says, Dee Dee, I want to show me this house and I'm gonna put an offer. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make my first offer and not have practiced. The
I
trainings
mean,
only do so much, I guess. There's nothing like just
what's going on Sunday? Right? There's something going on Sunday. Everybody's all.
Yes.
What's happening this Sunday?
Open houses, all that
No,
good
no,
stuff.
no, 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 no.
Football.
Something big happening this Sunday.
Football.
Martha, Super Bowl.
Football. Yeah.
Oh, the Super Bowl, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Those guys playing in the Super Bowl. Do you think they just show up for the Super Bowl and figure out how to
Oh,
play football that day?
no.
No, they've been
No.
practicing for years. All right, that's why they're in the Super Bowl. All right.
This is a great exercise. You know, we did Kickstart and all that stuff. We did different exercises, but not this. We've
Okay.
done lead generation exercise. Come again?
Where are you from?
New Jersey. I'm in New Jersey, Jersey City. But yeah, I have no, I think I met one other local agent. I reached out to her, but she doesn't she's not good with returning calls. I hope she's better with clients. But I've been wanting to be like get together with other agents just to practice things like this. So this is a great exercise. I'm glad you offered, Chris, because otherwise we don't initiate it. I do the
Yeah.
trainings. The trainings say put this here, you put your name here, you put EXP Realty LLC here, but it's not like actually doing it. So the contracts are available to us, and guess what, Chris? This is a good exercise. I've never gone to our Google Drive in our state to access the documents. I go in there and I see the list and I know where to find them, but I've never actually opened one and practiced.
All right.
So
Well,
this is good.
to add a little more fun to it, let's do the CMA. I want it submitted by 5 PM tomorrow.
Okay, give me a deadline by 5 tomorrow,
Absolutely.
okay? Okay. I'm just gonna randomly pick a property from Zillow.
Do you
just
know
to-
any properties out there? I
There's
prefer
tons
a
of-
property you've been in.
Oh, okay, I previewed some this past weekend, so yeah, I'll pick one of those.
Okay, yeah, one that
Yeah.
you've been, in. If you've already previewed it, if not, you
Yeah.
have time that you can go preview a new one.
Yeah, 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 and I've been to a few and it's wonderful. All I say is I'm just previewing and I'm just being nosy, looking at everything and comparing. So it's fun. Tanya
Okay.
tells us to get out there, so,
Okay, do the CMA, send it over to me, and then we'll go from there.
okay.
Sound good?
Wish me luck, Martha.
You'll be doing just fine.
Yeah, you'll be
Oh,
fine.
and I don't know how you guys do it. Some of you guys do it so fast. I watched this agent work on my house and I'm like, I want to get to that
Super
level.
Bowl, Super Bowl, practice. You'll get there.
I am a Super Bowl player now. I am gonna be phenomenal. I'm gonna be the GOAT. I'm gonna be the GOAT
Oh,
in New Jersey, in Jersey City, because I know there's other goats out there. But what this agent told me, Didi, if you keep going and in practice and do all this stuff, you can do icon. You can make icon
Yeah,
rather quickly.
but you gotta practice. So let's get out there.